Mari kita dengarkan cerita mengenai topik hari ini. Di antara yang pertama, tentang Shopee. Kemudian yang kedua, tantangan apa aja sih yang terjadi saat ini? Dan yang terakhir, pendekatan apa yang kita lakukan dalam menghadapinya?
Okay, thank you Dila for the introduction. So I think I'm as the first speaker here will cover the first session. So perhaps we can just start from like telling you a bit more about Shopee. So if you see from the slides, right now Shopee is leading in terms of the most used consumer apps and also the most downloaded apps in the Southeast Asia. So if you look at the most used e-commerce apps based on the Upprice Group research, so there is an increase from the second quarter to the fourth quarter in the last year. So generally we are the leading players across the markets at the moment. Yeah. And in terms of the key functions and also what are the departments within Shopee, there are 6 departments or key functions that working collaboratively within Shopee. There is a technology department, marketing, business development, operations, people, and also business intelligence. So from the tech team, so tech team typically is people that is focusing on like building a product that can really have a feature that can smoothen the experience of our users through the system and also the digital features. For the marketing team is focusing on like driving the campaigns, increase the awareness, increase the user acquisition also, and how we can engage people to our platform. And for the business development teams, so business development teams is the team that is really focusing on building the relationship and partnership with the merchants and ensuring that the merchants can provide enough supplies and to grow the business within Shopee. And also the fourth big team within Shopee is operations. Operations is the people or the team that really ensuring all the transaction end-to-end can be executed smoothly, starting from when the buyer places orders until the parcels or the package is safely delivered to the buyers from the sellers. And the fifth team is the people team, where this is the key people that help all the Shopee team can work collaboratively and ensure the workplace is comfortable enough for the people to work as productive and give more positive energy. So we can work collaboratively together. And lastly, this is business intelligence teams where the people under this team is focusing on like analytics of the data, looking at the insights, what is the behavior of the markets by leveraging the data that is processed and help Shopee people to make some decisions. Yeah, so this is basically 6 main key functions under Shopee. Yeah, looking at like what are the main businesses that Shopee is doing right now. Actually, there are 3 main businesses. So the first one is Shopee Marketplace. Shopee Marketplace is a platform where we connect consumer to consumer, so everyone can be a seller. Then everyone can sell and buy at the same time. For the Shopee, and secondly, for the Shopee Mall, is basically one of the key differentiation under Shopee platform that we work with the brand partners, the merchants, official sellers that can differentiate themselves by offering more enhanced experience, like offering 100% of the authenticity of the products, and there is a 7 free returns offer, and also of course there is a special free shipping program. In the next topics, I would like to share a bit like what are the main or current challenges that we are facing that everyone knows, that also Bila has mentioned a bit, like right now is quite difficult situation for everyone. Yeah, so I would divided these topics into 3 stages. So the first one, absolutely, we as a contributor in Shopee, we need to understand the situation, right? So basically, there is escalating situation coming from the late last year until now. So the situation is escalating to be more and more stringent, and there is a precautionary measures also need to be in place. Every stakeholders and also every players in the markets are trying to how we can limit the spread of the virus. So up until now, I think people perhaps in this audience that is living in Indonesia or Jakarta, there is a PSBB in place. But it's kind of like some bringing some impacts to the business also. So after we understand the situations, then we need to understand what it means for us as individuals. So for us individuals, definitely we want to maintain our health, wellness, and also safety. So that's why I think there is three key, self doing to ensure that we are healthy and can just do our daily lives as usual. So firstly, definitely we have to maintain the good hygiene. And secondly, we need to enforce the physical distancing so to minimize the risk of the spread of the virus. And also, we limit the unnecessary activities. So by understanding also what it means to individuals, then it also have an impact to the business. So what it means to the business, I would break down this into two perspectives. The first one is the business itself, and secondly, the operations, how we can ensure that the business that we are running can be still operate and continue it to minimize impact, the greater impact later on. So we need to have a kind of like effort and also actions that I think will be explained more later in the second session by Jonathan. But from the business side, I think there is a shift on the consumer demands. Consumer, in terms of crisis, they will shift more on the basic needs, which is health, wellness, and safety. So they focus on how they can fulfill their basic needs to run a basic daily life activities. And also from understanding that market shift, I think operationally we need to also understand like what are the things from this situation disrupt our operations. So by understanding this implication of the current situation, then it demands us to really understand what is the new normal. What is the new normal that we need to really understand and how as a company we can really adapt to the situation. Yeah, so after understanding the context of the challenges that we have now, then Shopee as a team, we are looking at like how we should approach it effectively and ensure the business continuity of Shopee as a e-commerce platform can help to run the economy also. Yeah, so by saying the new normal here is that I think again from the business and the operations side. From the business side, definitely there is chance on a change on the in demand. People is looking forward to more on the daily essentials, and also by having this like sudden disruption of this healthcare condition in Indonesia and also globally, it also disrupts the supply. So this, in terms of the business, we have these two main dynamics. There is change in demand and also some disruption in supply, because by having this COVID-19, it kind of like limits some sellers and also some merchants to be able to perform normally, because there is some kind of limitation like reducing power or limit the workspace, so everyone can still maintain their self hygiene. So definitely there's a disruption in supply. So from looking at the business, we also need to be to understand like what are the implications of the operations specifically for Shopee. So for Shopee, as we are expected to like really protect ourselves and also protect the community to ensure that we can cut off the spread of the virus, then we identify two main scope. What we call as like backliners and what we call as the frontliners. So the functions of the operation right now in Shopee, I would break down into 6 main functions. There is a payment, logistic, customer operations, customer experience, content and listing, also fraud management. So by looking at this function, we need to understand like based on the nature, what are the functions that can work remotely, that we can enforce people to be able to work from home, And then we need to think like, what are the things that we need to do to make our people can work effectively from their home. That's what we do for the functions that we think, okay, they don't have to go to work, and we need to think how can we help them, how we can support them to do as productive. And also we have some function that cannot really work from home, like logistics, like Shopee Express in this case. So yeah, this is, I think, in terms of the context of the Shopee as organization, logistics or Shopee Express or another 3PL logistics out there is the frontliners in terms of the e-commerce industry, that they still need to be able to deliver the parcels or the goods that are buyers buying from the platform. But we need to think, we need to be able to think like, how can we ensure that this supply chain process really safe for the users to experience. Then I think later on, Jonathan also will explain more like in detail how Shopee in terms of these frontliners can still perform and can still work under this difficult time.
So as an organization, we want to ensure that we will be able to tackle all these challenges. So moving on to the next slide. That is why we have undergone a few efforts, which can be broken down to 4 main points. So the first one is that, what are some of the efforts that we have taken to make sure that we can directly contribute positively to the society and to the community? And secondly, what are some of our business focus right now? And third, some of the efforts that we have taken to kind of like adapt operationally day to day. And also fourth, how we can support our current ecosystem of Shopee sellers. Cool, so this is the efforts that we have taken to ensure that we can make a positive contribution. Because we believe that Shopee as an organization, we have the collective power as well as collective influence in order to make a difference, especially in these times of crisis. So I think the first one is that we want to continue to play our part. So some of the things that we have done as a platform is we helped provide subsidies for about 1 million masks in Indonesia to make sure people who can't afford them can get the masks. And at the same time, we also make donations directly to the Red Cross, to those in need, and even open up, kind of the opportunity, even for our own Shopee employee, if they want to make a direct impact, they can make the donations through our platform. And then secondly, in terms of pricing, so we understand, during these times of crisis, we see a few kind of sellers who are irresponsible, and these are the people who are trying to take advantage of the current situation, especially when the demand for essential goods nowadays is on the rise, and because of that, some of the sellers are marking up these essential products to the point that it is almost impossible for buyers to afford them. So we believe that as a platform, we believe that we owe it to our customers to provide fair pricing. So instead, besides just educating our sellers to not try to take advantage of the current situation, we also at the same time, we're also active in taking down as well as banning overly expensive listings. Okay, so the third point is that how we want to help the community is that we continue to, our team continue to work hard to serve our customers with shopping at home. Okay, you can move on now. Cool, so this is the two of our business focus right now. So especially during these uncertain times, I think it's important as an organization for us to be adaptable because ultimately we want to serve the buyer main needs. So we want to also understand and also quick in adapting to the current market conditions and ensure that what we're doing is ultimately for the needs of the buyer. So some of the things that we have done to make sure that we're adaptable in this current situation is, previously before this whole coronavirus thing, we actually have planned out a huge electronic campaign, which actually takes months in advance to plan. But in light of the current situation, we see that we observe that our buyers kind of like their demand shifted into more of daily essentials. So because of that, our strategy is also to shift according to the buyer needs. And that is why we replaced the electronic campaign to promote more goods that is related to daily essentials. And also at the same time, we also created a dedicated section for coronavirus, whereby consumers in our app will be able to access this section to kind of like view the progress as well as current development of the virus, as well as shop for related products. Also, the second main business focus is that how we Shopee as a business, how we can work to fill this economic gap, especially during these times of crisis. In terms of the economy, there's a lot of gap that can be filled. That is why one of our focus right now is to find ways on kind of like how we can continue to innovate as well as provide things that are not currently offered by the market, so as to fill this gap created by the crisis. Some of the few things that we have done is that we understand that some of our sellers experience operational issues, be it the lack of manpower because of the orders increasing, or even for reducing their own manpower for the safety of their workers. So in order to cope with these operational issues, Shopee actually has a fulfillment center where we actually open up our fulfillment center for some of our sellers, for them to be able to store goods in our warehouse and for us to help fill their orders. And at the same time, we also continue to onboard new sellers as we see a trend of people shifting from the offline business model to the online business model. So that is the two main business focus right now. Moving on to the next slide. So this, we also understand that to be able to operate efficiently day to day, we have to also undergo several efforts, not only to help protect our employees, but also at the same time, help to protect the people around them and also our buyers. So I think before I proceed to the next part of the presentation, let's watch this video that highlights some of the efforts that we have taken operationally. Okay, so just to summarize some of the efforts they've undergone, is firstly, some of the things that we have taken for our Shopee frontliners, as previously mentioned by Rama. These are the people who are actually essential to our business. These are the people who can't work from home, and they actually have to kind of like risk their safety or health in order to come to work and also help fulfill the buyer needs. So for this type of employees, we are very appreciative, and we want to ensure that we have taken several steps to ensure their safety as well as safety of our buyers. So I think the first one, just to summarize, is we do ensure that in all of our facilities, we maintain it to be hygienic, where we conduct the various and also regular disinfections. And at the same time, we also have lockdown and sick protocols where we actually created scenarios of risk and mitigation scenarios. And also actually run an actual simulations. For example, if what happens in one facility is compromised, what should we do? We actually run actual simulations based on that. And then secondly, of course, we want to ensure that all of our employees are healthy by enforcing the standard kind of like temperature checks. And also, in addition, we also want to provide them with all the necessary wellness aids, such as vitamins and even supplements. And third, we also want to ensure that because oftentimes packages goes through a series of contact, especially starting from the warehouse up to the courier's hands. Again, to make sure that packages are sanitized up to the buyer's hands, we also enforce all of our couriers to wear masks, wear gloves, and also disinfect the package before delivering it to the consumer hands. And lastly, we also provide the opportunity for our buyers to receive the packages without contact. Cool, moving on to the next slide. So previously you have heard some of the things that we have done for our Shopee frontliners. So we also believe that the health of our Shopee backliners these are the people who can't work from home, such as the customer service, such as people in business development. So for these people who are able to work in a digital environment, we want to ensure two things. The first one is that their well-being is being taken care of. Again, by enforcing a kind of like a work from home policy, as well as we do provide our employees with care packages. For those people who are affected, we do provide subsidies, as well as providing them with the wellness aids. And at the same time, we also open up our entire hotlines because I understand, we all understand that working from home can be pretty stressful. especially if you have to tackle all those problems by yourself. So we believe that the well-being of the emotional well-being of our employees, beside from the physical well-being, is also important. That is why we open up this internet hotlines for those people who feel stressed working from home alone. And also at the same time, being able to adapt to the current condition, especially to work in a digital environment. Some of the employees doesn't have the means to do so. So in order to ensure that all of our employees can work effectively while staying safe by staying at home, we provide various enablers for them to be able to work effectively at home, such as providing them with internet subsidies, as well as the necessary digital tools required. Yeah, so that sums up the effort that we have taken operationally to adapt to our day-to-day operations. So moving on to the last and also one of the most important efforts also that we have taken is that how we can support our current ecosystem of sellers, making sure that they are able to still thrive in this kind of environment. Maybe some of you guys are wondering, isn't online sales up? Well, I can say that especially in the essential categories, we do experience an increase in volume, but in some other categories, there might be some negative impact. And because of that, we want to ensure that our sellers are still able to thrive in this kind of environment by ensuring three things. The first one is that, again, we want to provide more vouchers and more subsidies in the form of gratis ongkir and as well as product subsidies, so that our buyers are able to check out with a lesser value and hence helping our sellers to boost sales. In addition, we also provide the necessary seller education, such as how to operate efficiently and as well as the do's and don'ts in order to operate safely and as well as to help them boost sales in this current pandemic situation. And at the same time, we also provide our new sellers with incentives, with extra incentives. Especially we see again a huge influx of people trying to sell in our platform because they're trying to move their offline business to online. And as a platform, we understand this kind of like challenge, and we want to make sure that the transition from offline to online is as smooth and as easily as possible. And that is why we have provided various enablers especially for our new sellers, such as the ease of product registration and even extra shipping subsidies. So this sums up all the efforts we have taken on kind of like to help our current sellers cope with the current challenges in their environment. Okay, so you guys have heard some of the efforts that we have taken to ensure, again, to adapt to the current environment. So I think in the next few slides, I'm going to talk a little bit about, just to summarize, the impact that this situation has on our company as well as the economy and consumers. Cool. Okay, so just to summarize, the impact that this has to our business is that, first one, in terms of sales, we see an uplift in essential products. And in terms of stocks, again, of course, we see limitations in inventories, such as, where the nature of the product, the goods, is essential products such as masks and hand sanitizers. And we also experience kind of like an impact to our operational fulfillment, whereby it becomes challenging for our sellers, especially our marketplace sellers, to be able to operate normally and fulfill orders. And in addition to our own Shopee fulfillment centers, whereby as of right now, we are experiencing a huge spike in volume. And the challenge will be on how we can accommodate the kind of like the increase in volume and be able to serve our buyers with the best experience. And also, again, we see a lot of new sellers joining our platform. So because of this coronavirus situation, it's obvious that Indonesia's economic growth is set to kind of like slow down this year. So, just to summarize, what does this mean and what does this impact to consumers and sellers, basically the ecosystem in our platform. So basically for consumers, they will have lower purchasing power, which kind of means that, most of their disposable income will be focused on kind of like spending for things that are more essential. And also the restricted physical movements also means that demand for online purchases is on the rise. In terms of sellers, especially in the offline business activities, see a huge decline, especially in store closures and offline businesses, which means that there will be an increase in online purchases. And also, as offline sellers are looking to move online, so it is kind of like our duty as well as our responsibility to facilitate the shift. So all of these things, again, we see Shopee, we see an opportunity for us to kind of like fill this gap created by the crisis. Cool, so just to summarize the whole presentation. So Shopee as a platform, we are kind of like working collectively as an organization to break the chains of the coronavirus spread by encouraging our employees to stay at home, work from home, and keep being healthy. Because in order for our own organization to be healthy, our own Shopee team can work hard to play a part in our economy by helping our economy recover by working harder as well as smarter for our buyers. And at the same time, not only we encourage our own employees to make a positive contribution to the organization, but it's also at the same time make a contribution to the society, especially in these times of crisis.
I would like to ask about how you guys keep delivery process during the time like this. When delivering goods into the hands of customer is likely to be challenging, so it left with the possibility of an error, like late delivery, lost scanned items, etc. during the process. Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks for the questions, by the way. So basically, in terms of the delivery process, right? It's affected by the situation. So there are several adjustments that we are doing to ensure that the operations can still work, but masih dalam tahap yang aman gitu. Jadi definitely there is some impacts at the beginning when we adjust our operations, kind of like limiting the people interactions and also enforcing more hygiene by disinfektan ataupun kayak providing them with the gloves and also the mask. There is some disruption in the beginning where the impacts is more like the SLA itu agak impact, itu inevitable, but it's just a period of like adjusting the operations into the new procedure. There is some addition, some extra precautionary measures, but it's just like a matter of like transitioning into the new adjusted process. But the SLA can be maintained after we put all the necessary tools and also adjustment on the process in place. Jadi I would say impact on the transition, but after we adjust all the things, then we can recover back to ensure that the SLA can recover as per normal.
What is the benefit that SBS fulfillment offer to merchant compared to the other type of shipping process that already applied in Shopee?
Okay, yeah. So benefit of the SBS fulfillment, to offer the merchant is that some merchants actually they have some stocks, but they don't have the scalability to do the operations because there is some targets that actually merchants can be a producer also, or can be someone that already have the stock and are working with the other suppliers. Tapi some cases they don't have the resources to do the fulfillment process, like storing the stocks, and also doing the picking, the packing, also outbound to the 3PLs. So that's why this SBS fulfillment is there to solve and help them to operate at scale, rather than they invest like in the big warehouse. Some merchants can just solve this by I just put this under SBS fulfillment. So that's why SBS fulfillment is help to solve that problems for some merchants that have these pain points. Yeah.
How Shopee has maintained the volatility of the price given from the sellers, considering that there are situations where, for example, the price per mask has been increased unrealistically.
Okay, so thank you for the question. Jadi basically, Shopee kan ada two business types, right? The first one is Shopee's own fulfillment business yang kita punya like inventory sendiri. Jadi for this, we actually have a specific kind of like pricing team yang actually do like kind of like competitive benchmarking, making sure that our products in our fulfillment centers is actually competitive gitu sama other competitors. For that one, itu basically they're working to make sure that itu pricesnya it's always kind of like acceptable to the buyer standards. Secondly, I think for the question of kalau misalnya gimana kalau the price increases unrealistically, itu kan mostly happens for like marketplace sellers ya. Jadi marketplace sellers itu adalah kayak basically people like you and me yang kita bisa jual barang-barang di Shopee. And this type of people tuh biasanya mereka yang kind of like inflate the prices really high. So for this, we actually have a dedicated seller management team yang actually have the responsibility to look at like kind of like out of place prices or listings that violates our terms and conditions. Jadi mereka go through it and actively remove all these listings and banning the people.
Oke, kalau dan sudah semuanya, thank you semua for hari ini. Sampai bertemu lagi.
Thanks guys.